everyone, welcome back to my Earth Friendly Kitchen. I'm Maria, your host, and today we are making better than takeout beef and broccoli. I love making stuff at home that you usually can get out in a store or a restaurant because I think that it's just fresher, it's tastier sometimes just because you're putting your spin on it, your love on it, and this is just one of those recipes that I love to make at home that's going to save you a lot of money than going out and getting it at a restaurant. So first, we're going to start with the marinade that's going to go into the pot. So we're going to start with a cup of water, and then we're going to do 3/4 cups of soy sauce. Now, I'm using the tamari, which is the gluten-free soy sauce. I'm taking my little tab out because it'll just take forever to come out. But, you can use regular soy sauce if you want, for you if you're not gluten-free. But shockingly, soy sauce has wheat in it. So 3/4 cup of soy sauce. And then we're going to do a teaspoon of sesame oil. And sesame oil is going to give it that really nice, deep, rich flavor that you love from a beef and broccoli. And then you're going to do a teaspoon of rice vinegar. You could also do apple cider vinegar if you don't have rice vinegar. Use what you have. I usually like, when I go to the Asian markets, I like stock up because it's kind of far from my house. So I just like stock up and I keep it on hand at all times. And then that way I don't run out. So then we're going to do a teaspoon of crushed red pepper. You could do more or less depending on your spice level, how you like it. Or you could omit it even if you want to. I'm just going to get the rest off my spoon here. Then we are going to add a cup of brown sugar. So you would think it's going to be sweet if you add this kind of sugar to it, but it's not. It's actually just going to help with the richness and the thickening up because the soy sauce obviously has a lot of sodium in it. Let me take my little guy out here. These guys, I don't know if you know about them, but they're little clay discs that are sold actually by Pampered Chef, but I'm sure you can find them elsewhere. And they are meant to keep your brown sugar from getting super, super hard. So I have 2 in here, and I love them. We use them. I've been using them forever. So 1/4 cup. So it's not going to make it sweet. It's just going to give it some nice umami flavor with the sugar in there. And because the soy sauce has all that salt in it. I'm making a mess already, guys. I mean, you know me by now, right? And then, so it's not going to, they're going to counteract. And then the little bit of vinegar in there as well. And then we're going to add 6 tablespoons of cornstarch. Actually, I think we're going to do 5 tablespoons. 5 tablespoons of cornstarch. And we're just going to whisk it all in. Now, the cornstarch is going to help thicken the sauce up when it cooks. So it's just going to give it some nice, weight to it. That's a little trick that we have. And then we're going to crush. Oh, actually, let me just mix that in there. You want it to be all nice and blended well. You can use a whisk, a fork, a spoon, whatever you got. I like a whisk because I feel like it, breaks things up. The sugar and the cornstarch just makes it really nice and smooth. And then you're going to put about 3 large cloves of garlic. Now, if you have small cloves, you could double them up. If you have, medium cloves, if you like a lot of garlic like we do, you can put more. It's to each their own. These recipes that I like to give you guys are just really the starting point, for what you want to do in your kitchen. And, you may want more soy sauce, or you want to add oyster sauce to this, or, something like that. That would go really well too. It's just, these things are just jumping off points. And, I encourage you to make them your own. So we're going to crush some garlic in here. And I cut them in half because they're big and they won't fit otherwise in my press here. So we'll just do them. And, oh, I don't have a garlic spray around here. It's all right. No one will notice that I smell like garlic. I feel like it's a common thing. You know, it's in my blood at this point. I sweat garlic. Okay. And I like to crush it as opposed to mincing it because it's part of the sauce, right? But ginger doesn't crush very well, so we are going to mince it. Now I'm just taking about an inch worth of ginger, and I'm just going to take the skin off really quickly. Just kind of go around there like that. And then the ends. And then make this into very manageable pieces. Now, this is also going to add to some of the spiciness. So, you know, you might want to taste it before adding a little bit more crushed red pepper, because garlic and ginger also have a little bit of that spiciness, right? But when they cook down, they tend to cook out a lot of that like harsh spiciness. But I know people that are literally just like chew on a piece of ginger. I can't do it. But everybody's like, it's the best way to get over a cold, or, you know, if you have a cough, or if you're nauseous. Those are like old, like home remedies for things like, you know, like pregnant women, when they were pregnant, they would chew on ginger, you know, back in the day for their morning sickness and stuff like that. So just gonna mince this up really small so it permeates and goes right nice into the sauce there. Okay, so that is the marinade sauce, whatever you call it. And this we're gonna put off to the side for now until we're ready to cook. And the next thing we're gonna do is chop up our broccoli. So you wanna make sure, well, we wash this, obviously. I hope it's obvious that we wash our vegetables around here. But I'll tell you anyways, just so you don't, you know, gross out on me. The broccoli, you want to try to get small a little bit, more small bites, you know, mostly the florets, and just a few of the stems here because it's going to be sauteed. We're not going to be boiling this right away. So you want them to be manageable and easy and quick to cook, because this is a pretty quick meal once you get it going in the pot. And, you know, this is going to be real time, guys. So you're going to see how fast this can be because there's no, like, wait time here. And I designed it that way so that way when you're in a pinch, instead of going out to eat or grabbing, you know, takeout or, you know, stuff like that before on your way home, you think to yourself, oh, I'm in the mood for beef and broccoli, and oh, I should just get takeout because I'm tired or work or whatever. And then it's gonna be like, oh, you know what? Earth Friendly Kitchen showed me how to do it in, you know, 20 minutes. And so I just feel like it saves you money. It saves you, you know, energy by making it a quick meal. And, you know, we're big fans of all of that. And then the stems that we don't use, we save in our freezer bag. If you guys don't know what that's for, it's for my scrappy vegetable broth. It's empty because I actually just made some. I think you can see it back there. It's cooling off today. So that I use in a variety of recipes for, you know, chilies. It's soup season, y'all. So I'm making a bunch of soups, you know, that you'll be seeing. Check them out when you get a chance. Okay, there's one, and then the last guy here. So this makes about, I would say, 4 to 5 cups of broccoli. 3 crowns. You know, obviously you'll depend on, you know, where you're buying and you know, what your store has available in you. But these crowns were on sale for like 89 cents each, which was awesome. So it was less than $3 to get this broccoli here. And the whole meal for this meal is actually only going to cost you about, you know, with all of your sauce ingredients and stuff like that, I would say, plus mostly all of them are pantry shelf, you know, that are pantry friendly, so they're going to stay. You're not going to use all of it, so you're really going to get your money's worth. But the whole meal probably costs you 15 bucks, which might give you one plate of beef and broccoli from a restaurant. This is going to give you like 6 servings, right? So you're really spreading that out. I mean, 6 servings for 15 bucks. I mean, that's 2 and change per serving, right? I mean, it's pretty cheap if you ask me for a really delicious beef and broccoli. Okay, and then we are gonna just cut up some scallions here, and we're gonna use those for garnish later. So we're not gonna put them in anywhere just yet. And I gotta use these guys up because they're getting a little wilty, but we don't mind the ugly ones. We just take off the crunchy bits. Still good, but we like to use it until we can't anymore. And hopefully, ooh, don't drop that soy sauce all over my kitchen. That would be a mess. But yeah, you know, just because parts of something may be a little wilty or whatnot, you know, you could just cut it off, remove it. As long as the fruit itself or the vegetable itself isn't rotted, you know, use it until you can't anymore is what I say. Okay, that's it. We're going to move over to the stove and we're going to put it all together and you'll see how quick it can be. All right. So we are going to put a large pan on the stove. You know, you could do this in a wok if you have a wok. My wok happens to be in need of some TLC. I let it unfortunately get a little rusty, so I have to do some work to get that going. But it works just as well in a large pan. Even if you have a large pot, you can do that too. But just want to have some good surface area because this is quite a bit of broccoli. You know, like I said, it's about 4 cups. You want to, you know, make sure you have room for all the guys to fit in the pool. So we're just going to dump him in there like that. And we're just going to let that set. And while this is kind of toasting, now this is going to be over a medium to high heat. We're going to really kind of just toast through the rawness of the broccoli. I'm just going to coat that all with the oil so that way when we stir it up in a little bit, it'll get all nice and toasty. And while this is going here, we're going to break up some of these steak slices. And I'm just going to use the same bowl as I used for the broccoli to put it in there because why dirty another dish? But I like the steak options to use for this dish. Again, this is a quick version of some beef and broccoli. This is just my version. You know, traditionally you would use like a sirloin sliced, or you would use like a skirt steak sliced. But most of the time those are more expensive, right? The actual like steaks are more pricey to get like a decent cut of meat. And this I love because it's in the freezer. You can keep it in the freezer. You can take as much or as little as you want. We're going to use all of this steak here today because we're making a pretty hefty batch. Now you could half this recipe if you don't need as much, and then you know it would be even cheaper to make. But this is just, I like to have these in the house just to use for a quick saute. We make like steak and cheese sandwiches with these, like Philly cheese, you know, sandwiches. My husband loves them. I just saute up some mushrooms and onions and then the beef and then put it on a roll with some mozzarella. Delish. So I'm just going to break them up, and I'm going to break them up into kind of like small pieces. And it's okay if they're still like a little bit frozen, you know, as long as they're pliable. Because when you toss them in, they're going to be really fast to cook, even if they're a little bit frozen. So we're just going to break these up. And then you can see just into kind of like rough pieces. You want to do it too small because as it cooks, it's going to shrink a little bit. But you just want to cut like the big sheets. Like you don't want big whole half sheets in there. Okay? Great. So that's that for now. So you can hear the broccoli. It's starting to sizzle already. you know, you want to keep that, whoop, tried to escape. You want to keep that bright green color of the broccoli, you know, as you're cooking. And, you know, you definitely want to keep some of that crunch. You know, the water will be extracted from the broccoli when, you know, as it's cooking. So it's going to kind of steam a little bit, as well as, you know, when you're sauteing it, some of that water is going to leach out, and it'll help, you know, steam the broccoli on the inside as well as like toast it on the outside. So this is looking really good here. And we're not going to cook it all the way before it's ready, because we want it, it's going to keep cooking when we start adding all the other things in. But what we're going to do is that my dishwasher? I think my dishwasher is going off, guys. Well, a little real life here, right? I mean, what are you going to do? We're just going to make a little well into the broccoli and just add the beef. And I know it seems like it's overwhelming this pan, but like I said, the beef really shrinks down as it cooks. So, and I'm not going to add any like additional, like normally like I would season as I go, but this has all the seasoning you need in it in this marinade. So you don't need to like add any extra salt or pepper or anything like that. At this point, you could always add it at the end if you think it needs extra, but you know, you don't have to. You don't have to add anything, because I think it's perfect just the way it is. Now I am going to cover this up just a little bit to help steam this broccoli down a little bit, because I made like a double batch like normal, that I normally would, I should say, because we're actually going to be bringing this to my mother-in-law. She's in a rehab right now. She had some surgery, and so we're you know, we want to give her some nice delicious food, because no offense, rehabs or hospitals, but your food isn't always the best. So she likes homemade foods to come for dinner. So we're going to bring this to her. I'm just covering it up, kind of create like a little oven to steam it. So, and the beef will start to brown, you know, in the bottom here. And then once it kind of is cooked down a little bit is when you're going to add your sauce. And then that's going to just really start flavoring everything really nicely. And in the steak, the beef itself will also have a little bit of fat content as it cooks. So that'll help, you know, with the flavor as well with the dish. So you can see how it's starting to really get like smaller because it's cooking down here. It's not like a mountain anymore. I know. Sometimes you wish like you had the biggest pots in the world, but you know, you use what you have. Your stove, depending on how big it is. I mean, this is technically a one pot meal, right? So even if you have like a little burner or like a 2-set burner, if you live in a tiny home and only have a small, you know, portable burner, like something like that, then great. You know, this is something you can still make at home because it's just it's actually like a one pot meal because you just throw everything in together, which I love one pot meals. My husband's not like a super fan of meals where like everything is all mixed in together, like in one bite. I love everything in one bite. He's more of like a let's eat it separately type of guy, but I think it's delicious. But he likes this. He likes the beef and broccoli, like stuff like this. He'll eat like all mixed in together. But he's not like a big casserole guy or something like that, you know. All right, so you see how it gets all broken up. That's why you don't want to break it up too much in the bowl because it's already starting to break up in here as it cooks down. Now you could use the regular cuts of meat if you prefer it that way. It'll give you like more chewiness to the meal. You know, this is going to be kind of just like every bite will have a piece of meat in it and the broccoli as you eat it. But like you could definitely use skirt steak, sirloin. I wouldn't go for like the heavier, like fattier steaks because they will they're gonna take a lot longer, and they take, I don't know, they don't cook as well when you put them in a mix like this. You know, you really want to have like something that's a little bit more lean. So I would recommend that if you do that. And it could be, you know, sometimes that may be the cheaper option, because, you know, like you have like every now and then your store has those sales where you get like 4 packs of meat for 20 bucks. Even if I don't need it for that week, I always like buy it and put it in the freezer, because those sales are like, you know, it's how you really save the money. All right, so you see how this is browning now really nicely. So a lot of this is starting to turn brown. So even though it looks still pink in some parts, I'm gonna add the sauce here so that the cornstarch has plenty of time to thicken up. So I'm just gonna pour all of that all over here. And the flavor will continue to permeate the meat as it cooks. So, all right. So we're just gonna let that cook down for a little bit and continue to cook. And it's gonna take maybe 3 to 5 minutes or so. So we'll let that go, and we will come back and check in on you in 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so we're back. You can see that the sauce has really thickened up quite a bit. It's, you know, really nice and just glossy and thick. That's the evidence of the cornstarch here, and just everything really breaking down and becoming really, really beautiful and saucy. So you'll see it's not like a traditional beef and broccoli where the pieces are very whole. It's more of like almost like a ground beef when you use the steak gums. But it's, to me, I like it a lot better like this. So we are ready to plate this. We're gonna get some rice. Now you can omit the rice or not if you want. You know, listen guys, we're not fancy people. We just use some minute rice or whatever this fast just most of the time. Occasionally I'll use my rice cooker, but for this we're just using some good old jasmine rice because it was on sale. And then we're just gonna pour this over the rice. So nice. And when I tell you it's better than takeout, you're just not even gonna believe it until you try it. Okay, so see just all of that, how it looks. There's still so much in the pot. We're gonna just kind of make it a little pretty with some sesame seeds, add a little bit of nuttiness, and those scallions that we chopped. Look how beautiful, guys. Oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, you're gonna pay $15, $20 a bowl for this in a restaurant versus to make, you know, 6 servings of this. It's really amazing. So let's give it a taste. Get a tiny piece of broccoli here if I can. Oh my gosh. The flavor just really is so complex. You've got the spiciness of the ginger and the garlic, the umami combination of the salt from the soy sauce and the sugar from the brown sugar. It's really a full flavor in your mouth. Super delicious. Obviously very quick. I mean, this is real time. I mean, I know we stepped away for a few minutes, but it was only 5 minutes. So, I mean, this is something that you can make in under 30 in your home, and I hope you try it. Midweek meal, a nice Saturday night. Avoid the takeout. Cuddle up at home. It's snuggle season. This is super nice and warm and hearty, so enjoy it with someone if you can. And check back on my channel and like and subscribe for more recipes like this. We'll see you next time. Bye.